This is such an exciting time of year when the garden is just really starting to grow, and it's time to make that transition from a little bit of early season protection, some growth enhancement, to supporting those tomatoes so that they'll really produce for us. So this is a cherry tomato, and to start the season off with, I like to put the aquadomes on them. The aquadomes hold water in between the two layers, and it will generate a lot of heat, and it'll protect the tomatoes through frost. Even as cold as 20, 22 degrees, it'll protect those tomatoes right inside these aquadomes. But it also encourages a lot of growth, and so early on in the season, late spring, early summer, it's going to really encourage a lot of growth, get the tomatoes to grow. And when they grow out the tops like this, it's time to make that transition to supporting the plant instead of just encouraging a little bit of growth. And so we've got a couple different options. We've got a traditional tomato cage like a sun cage here. The sun cages are built a little wider at the bottom, a little narrower at the top, so it gives you a lot more stability and a lot more stable. And what's great about these is they're so sturdy. They've got very, very well built, great construction. But in this case, where my tomato's a little bit bigger, I'm afraid to push the cage down over the top of the tomato, possibly breaking some of the branches. So what's really handy about the handy cages is they come in two pieces, and so as we take that aquadome off, I can put the tomato cages in around a much larger tomato without doing damage to it. And as the tomato gets bigger, we can actually loosen the cages up and spread it out and support a much larger plant than we would otherwise. As you can see, we've got a tomato cage right here that we've already put on one of our cherry tomatoes, and it's really growing like crazy, starting to grow up through there. We can just grab those tops of the tomatoes and adjust them, direct them where we want them to go so that they'll stay inside the cage. This cherry tomato is a sun sugar. It's going to get really, really big, and so we're going to put some big handies on it, because last year my tomatoes were as tall as I am and about this big around, and so the big handies could actually handle that large of a tomato. So as we're taking the dome off, we want to be very careful not to damage our beautiful tomato plant that's growing like crazy. So I'm just going to slide this right over the top. And since it's been inside its cage, it's a little wobbly and it's a little contained right here, but otherwise it's looking great, and it's just gonna work perfect with our big handy cage. So I'll grab the first piece of the handy and bring that in close to my tomato plant. Just kind of sink it into the ground. Now I can lean my plant on my big handy. Bring the other side of the big handy in. I just put it like right up close to its partner. And that's pretty much it. Very difficult. As you can see, that took us all of 10 seconds to put that cage on. But the great thing about the handies is, since they come apart in the two pieces, didn't have to damage the plant trying to put a tomato cage over the top of it. I mean, it's a much larger plant. I mean, it comes up to mid-thigh on me, so it's probably at least 2 feet, maybe even a little bit taller. And big handy is going to support that as it grows. And as we watch it grow this summer and really start to produce, it's gonna end up growing taller than the big handy itself. As it grows, we can extend these out, or some of my customers will even take it and put an extra set of handy cages around it to give it some extra support as it starts to grow. So you can use the handy cages for a lot of different uses, but when it comes to supporting tomatoes, there's really nothing better. So hopefully your plants will grow like crazy, and you'll need some handy cages to keep those plants supported and producing properly.